Hello and welcome to lesson 9 of JavaScript. In this lesson, we are going to look at JavaScript arrays. My name is Mildred. In JavaScript, we declare array by declaring a variable using the const keyword and a name for the variable. So let's say I want to declare a variable called employees. This variable is going to hold a list of employee first names, for instance. We declare arrays in square brackets like this, and within the square brackets, we can put a comma separated list of values. The values can be either strings or of any data type, as long as they are separated by comma. So we can list first names. Let's say we have a list of names: John, Jane, Faith, Michael. And if I want to print out this array, I'm going to print out the array employees. Save this. When I refresh my web page, I will have all of the list printed to the page. Array indexing starts at 0. And so if I want to print just the first element of the array, I will use index of 0. If I want the second, I will use 1. If I want the last one, which is the fourth one, is the index of 3. So when I say employees 3, I'm going to print out Michael to the page like this. So this is the easy way of creating arrays. You can create the array by putting the square bracket like this, and then you begin to assign values to the arrays. So let's say employees 0. So at index 0, we want it to be Jane. At index 1, so you can see how tiring this could be if you have a very long list to create. And so we can do it this way. And when I save and I refresh my page, print out employees, I'll have Jane and Faith printed on the page as the two elements of the array. So there are different ways of creating. You can use the new keyword, like saying constant employee is equal to new array like this. But I want to encourage you to use this new array method of creating array like this. So just use the square brackets. It's more straightforward like this. There are different methods that we can use to do different operations on arrays. And so we're going to look at each of these methods. First of all, if we want to get the length of the array, we are going to be printing out the array name dot length like this. When I save this, it will print out 2 to the page because it is only 2 items in the array. If I want to know what the last index is, I'll put length -1, and it's going to tell me the last index is index 1. So I will know that I can now add elements to the next index, which is index 2. If I want to add elements to the end of the array, I'm going to use employees.push. So I use the push method like this, and in a pair of quotes here, I'm going to put the name I want to add here. So let's say I want to add Michael. And by the time I print out employees, I will have 3 names: Jane, Faith, and Michael. If I want to take out the last item of the array, I can say employees.pop. And so it takes out Michael. I only have Jane and Faith on the page when I refresh my page. If I want to convert to string, we can use the toString method like this, and it remains the same because it looks like it's already converted for it to be printed out to the page. But there's something we can do. We can use a join method like this and specify a kind of separator we want between the items. So let's say I want a pipe like this. I will save, refresh, and I'll have a pipe separating the names like that. So these are some of the methods we use on arrays. We have the shift and unshift method, and when you use shift, employees.shift, so what this will do is it's going to delete an element from the beginning of the array, and then it's going to shift the other elements to occupy lower indexes. So I'm going to remove this pop so that we can have 3 items here, and then we're going to shift to remove Jane, and then Faith and Michael will take index 0 and 1. So I'm going to print out employees, and we're going to see we only have Faith and Michael on the page. We are going to unshift, and when we unshift, what we do is it's just like we are using the push method. It adds at the beginning of the array. So if I put unshift, and then when it adds at the beginning, it shifts now to the right and gives the remaining items a higher index. So I want to add things like Ben here. And when I print out employee, I will have Ben at the first index, Jane second, Faith third, Michael at the last index like this. And so it's going to rearrange the array content. We can also concatenate arrays. For instance, let's say we have a list of arrays. Let's say arrays of, let's look at male employees, and we have John, James, Ben. Let's say we have constant female employees, and here we also have, let's say we have Jane, we have Faith, we have Mary, and we have Mercy. We can concatenate these 2 arrays by creating a new variable. Let's say constant employees now. will now be equal to, let's say, male employees dot concat. We are concatenating with female employees like this in a pair of brackets. And when I print out employees, I will have the combination of both here. So it didn't print out. Let's see why. So we'll have the name is wrong, employees. So save, refresh, and we'll have all of them concatenated. If I have more arrays, let's say I want to add this one, so we'll call this other employees. So we can concat female and other. So we'll have the name repeated on the page. So I'll save, I'll refresh, I'll have it like that. We can also splice and slice arrays, and let me delete this and show you how we do that. Okay, so let's just use the other employees. I'm going to add all of this to the first array, and I'll delete this, and I'll leave this to name as employees. So we want to see what we use the splice method written like this to do. Here you specify as the first argument the index where you want to add. Let's say 0, 1, 2. I want to add at index 3. I want to add another male name at index 3. So I'll put 3 here. And I want to specify if I want any item deleted. I don't want any one, so I'll put 0 here. Then I'll put what I want to add starting from index 3. I want to add Gabriel, and I want to add Paul. And so what I'll do here is employees dot splice. And when I print out employees, I'll see that after Ben, we have 2 names added after Ben. If I say delete 1, which means that Jane is going to go because it's going to delete 1 item to insert the rest. And so when I refresh now, we'll see that Jane will be deleted from there. If I just want to use it to remove elements without adding new elements, I'll make the index where to add to be 0, and then I'll specify like 1 for it to remove 1 item, and then I won't specify any names here. So it's just going to be the 2 indexes. So that's what I'll use the splice to do. We have the slice, and what we use the slice method to do is to slice an array into a new array. Let's say, for instance, I want to slice from a particular starting index. So I want to slice from 0, 1, 2. I want to slice from 3. So employees.slice 3. I want this to be saved into a new array. So let's say constant females now is equal to employees.slice 3, and I'm going to print out females to the page. So I'm going to have starting from index 3, Jane, Faith, Mary, Mercy. Save, refresh, and that is what I have. And so these are the array methods that we have. We're going to look at more methods when we look at the sort and the iterations of array in the next lesson. Thank you, and see you in the next lesson.